Warm greetings. I'm Dr. Angela Deepa, Assistant Professor from Department of Information Technology, Women's Christian College. The topic which I'm going to discuss now is about the introduction to biometric systems. So before diving into a main topic, let us discuss about the information security. Information security is nothing but it concerns about the assurance of confidentiality, integrity and availability of information at all times. So it assures confidentiality, integrity of information and also the availability of information at ease at all ages and all times. So why information security is important? So in recent times, most of us are moved to the digital world where we are handling lots of digital transactions and payments. So there is a high risk of your data to be stolen or misused by any other person. So how can we save our informations or how can we handle ourselves in this digital world? So there are many solutions for that, and one such solution is the biometric systems. So what is biometric? Biometric is nothing but it is an automated system which automatically identifies an individual based on their physiological and behavioral characteristics. So the biometric systems is an automated system which targets the physiological and behavioral characteristics of each individual. So it is derived from an Asian word where the bio means life and metro means measure, and it is the most secure and a convenient authentication tool where you cannot misplace or forget at any times. So this is the overall process of your biometric system. So a biometric system has two things. The first one is the enrollment and the second one is the verification. So what do you mean by enrollment? So when a user or an individual gives his data in a form of fingerprint or in form of iris or in form of retina scan, those input data are being captured and it is being processed under few algorithms and it is stored in a relevant template. So once the template is created, it is being stored in the database. So once the same person or the user or individual comes in contact, so what does the verification system do is it captures the user's input and again it processes the based on algorithms and it compares the current individual's data with the stored template. So what happens when we compare, if the match is being found exactly or to a particular threshold, we call it as the match found. In case if the match is not found or it is not accurate to a accurate level, we coin them as no match found. So who are the participants in this biometric systems means there are three important components who participate in this biometric system. The one is the sensor and the other is the computer and the third one is the software. So what is a sensor? It detects the characteristics being used for identification. So when a person comes in contact, this sensor detects the distinctive features of that particular individual so that it captures the features of the particular organ. For example, if it's going to be fingerprint, it captures the fingerprint impression. If it's going to be an iris or retina, it is completely going to use the organ eye. So if it's going to be facial recognition, it is going to use the facial features to capture the input so that it can be converted and processed and converted and placed as a template for in the database for further identification. So what does the computer do here? The computer reads and stores the informations that the sensor detects. So once the information it is being stored, there is a software which particularly handles the characteristics and it translates all the input that is being captured by the sensor and stored by the computer in a form of graph or a code, so that an actual comparison of data can be done. So these are the main classification of a biometric system. So as we have already discussed, the biometric system is based on two things. The one is the physiological characteristics and other one is the behavioral characteristics. When it comes to physiological characteristics, the first and the foremost and a very traditional one is your fingerprint. The next one is the hand scan, which we have been used in most of the airports and places to identify a person. And the next one is your iris scan. Then you have your facial recognition system, and you have your DNA systems in a form of biometric systems for identifying a person's identity. And there is another thing called the behavioral characteristics, which is based on three things: the keystroke scan technology, then your signature scan technology, and next one is your voice recognition. So these falls under the behavioral characteristics of an individual. So there are so many areas where the biometric devices have dived in the recent days, but it has been categorized in mainly into three groups. The first one is the commercial groups. So when it comes to commercial, the biometric systems are being used in computer network login in means of fingerprint verification system, and electronic data security, and it's been used in the e-commerce, okay, and even it's been used in the internet access, and foremost in all your ATMs, where you have your face recognition system to avoid forgery, and it's been used in your credit cards, and currently even your medical record management as some kind of biometric features or biometric scan technology to protect an user's identity. So in the second place, it's being used in the government applications. So most of us are aware that it's been used in Aadhaar cards. So in all your national ID, we have our biometric features captured as a so that it can be used to identify your user identity, and it's being used in your driving license, in social security numbers, and in border control systems, then even in your passports. And the last one, it's been used by the forensic department to identify few things like the scope identification, and in all the criminal identification highly depend on the biometric features, and identification of terrorist, and even to determine a parenthood, biometric system plays a very keen and a very important role, and it's been also been used in the identification of missing children. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of using a biometric technique? So biometric technique is a direct authentication, which means it gives a direct authorization. If you are going to be the original user or the original individual, it gives you a direct authentication to perform any kind of task, and it has a strong right to access, which means the particular credentials given to that respective individual is being authorized through the biometric system, and it's very portable and very user friendly, and the accuracy level is very good when compared to most of the other identification systems. But when it comes to disadvantages, it is quite expensive because of the components it's incorporated into it, and there are few privacy issues and ethical issues, like in means of misuse of that user's identity or sharing the user identity and stuff like that. And there are times where the original individual user might have met with an accident, or he might have lost some organ, or he must have lost that particular distinctive feature of the scan technology. So in that case, there is a situation where that original user can be rejected because the biometric device is not able to identify it, since that person lost his the features. So in that scenario, biometric technology or the biometric system may have false rejections. So these are the few disadvantages that are being quoted in biometric systems. So to conclude with, biometric systems are a successful applications. They give promising results in means of identifying a particular individual, and it is very convenient, which can be used in all places, in all situations and circumstances. So currently the biometric techniques have an increased privacy, and uh, most of the datas are being protected properly in a high form, so that it cannot be used by the other people. So with this I conclude my discussion. Thank you.